Hey guys, so today I'm going to cover Justin Bieber's natal chart, and I'm also going to go over transits, meaning where the planets are going to be, in a couple of months, where are they now, and how will they be affecting him in a couple of months too, and within years. Okay, I want to start off by saying that Justin Bieber is a Scorpio riser. He's 29 degrees Scorpio, and he's got 28 degrees Pluto in Scorpio, retrograde. So intense Pluto that rules Scorpio is actually right on his ascendant. So Justin Bieber is a very, very intense person, because anybody that has Pluto right in the ascendant, they're very intense. They could also be quite controlling of their surroundings, of everything in their life, of their whole entire chart. I have Scorpio rising, and I also have Pluto right in my ascendant, and I need to be in control of every single house in my astrology chart, or else I feel like I'm in pieces. And that's the same thing with Justin Bieber. Now, Justin Bieber also has the North Node, which is the direction that you're going in life, 26 degrees Scorpio. And note, Scorpio falls right in his 12th house. He only has like one little degree of Sagittarius before his whole entire first house is occupied by the whole entire zodiac of Sagittarius. So his Scorpio 12th house pretty much occupies the whole constellation. Now, 12th house has to do with the hidden, the occult, secrets, doing things in the background. And Justin has a stellium there. He's got Pluto, he's got the North Node, and he also got Jupiter 14 degrees in retrograde. So Justin Bieber is a very, very secretive person. He's got a lot of secrets and can be quite magnetic, since Jupiter is in Scorpio. So Jupiter being there expands anything that he comes in contact with. And when he's in Scorpio, he's extra magnetic, extra mysterious, as he's in the 12th house. Now, I would have never guessed this about Justin Bieber, because he doesn't look like a mysterious person. But again, I don't really follow him. But Sagittarius being throughout his whole entire first house could probably make up to what I see actually from him, which is a free spirit, very adventurous, and always smiling. Now, I want to mention that I noticed immediately when I looked at his chart that he's got a Libra moon. And the moon in the chart symbolizes where you're most comfortable in. And he's got it in the 11th house of friends, of society, of the future, of goals, long-term goals. So Justin is very much comfortable being on stage, being with friends, being with a group of people, and he's not shy at all. Now, Justin has his moon in Libra, and he could be indecisive in relationships, weighing all possibilities. And he could also be very flirtatious. He could be player-like, especially when it's in the 11th house of social, outgoing, and then you got Libra there. That's very flirtatious and very flamboyant. The moon in Libra could be a person that gives mixed signals, Now, another placement that I saw that was very much of a flirtatious placement is that he's got the Venus in Pisces. Now, Venus is the symbol of love in the zodiac, and Pisces is a very romantic sun sign. So when you got Venus there, this person can be fond of romantic displays, playing music, singing to the person that they're into. And in terms, a lot of people will love this. People that are into romantic stuff, they will just totally fall head over heels over a person with Venus and Pisces. Now, note he has it in the 4th house. So he's got Venus in the 4th house, and the 4th house is ruled by Cancer. Cancer is the sign of comfort, love, nurturement, family, and home. So Justin Bieber loves being home. He likes his privacy. He enjoys alone time. He enjoys family time. And that Venus placement also symbolizes the kind of woman that's great for him, and that most probably he will end up marrying. Now, Venus in the 4th is Cancer, and Venus in Pisces. So she will have the characteristics of a Pisces woman or a Cancer woman. Very domesticated, very family oriented, and romantic and sweet. Those are the characteristics that his ideal woman, would have. Now, the woman that he goes after, okay, the woman that he, that's the bad girl for the man, is Neptune. And he's got Neptune 22 degrees in Capricorn in the second house of money and possession. So he would have to watch out for very greedy women, or women who are very goal-oriented and have careers, okay? Because those will usually, end up being his downfall. But he's got his Neptune there, and he's very much into those kind of women. So they got the characteristic of Capricorn, and they got the characteristic of Taurus, since Taurus rules the second house. They can be quite stubborn. They could be beautiful, because Taurus is a very beautiful sign. And they could be, again, very ambitious, like Capricorn. Now, I noted that he's got Mars in the third house, okay? And Mars in the third house is a blessing for people who have to do with sales, with physical movement, because the third house has to do with Gemini, the hands and the feet. So he could be a good dancer, a good singer, a good songwriter, really good at doing multiple things. And with the third house Mars, it just gives him a lot of energy. And it's also conjunct to Mercury. Mercury's 24 degrees and is in his Aquarius. So he channels his aggressive energy, his physical energy, with his voice, which is his Mercury, very, very well. It's perfectly conjunct the third house. He's got a lot of energy to burn. Now, Justin, I noticed that Justin has Uranus 24 degrees in Capricorn right next to Neptune, which is 22 degrees. It's kind of like a conjunction. It's both in the second house. So Neptune, being the woman that's pretty shady, pretty insightful in his chart, is conjunct to Uranus, which is a very shaky planet, very unpredictable, gives you a lot of surprises. So second house has to do with value, with what you value in life. What are your values, your core values? And when you have Neptune with Uranus there, sometimes Neptune can change Uranus's core values. It can be easily influenced by the women in his life that he chooses, right? Usually the Neptune women, okay? And they could totally shake his foundation of what his beliefs are. Okay, does that make any sense? Like if he goes out with someone that's Neptune oriented instead of Venus, they're going to change his core beliefs. Like if he didn't smoke pot before and she started smoking pot and she says, "Hey, Justin, you want to try some pot?" "Oh, I don't smoke pot. My family told me never to smoke pot." But she's going to influence him, that Neptune, and suddenly, unexpectedly, he's going to have new belief system. He's going to be like, "Yeah, I totally rock this." You know what I mean? So it's pretty shaky. His second house is pretty shaky. Now, his sun in Pisces, 10 degrees, is in his fourth house of family. Really enjoys family. He's got a very strict parent, as he's got Saturn, 3rd degrees Pisces. His family life could be very much of a torment for him. His father could be the main dictator or the person that's in charge in the household. There's a lot of discipline in the fourth house. I'm not sure, what his upbringings were. But it sure has to do with a very rigid upbringing. Now, I want to go back to that Uranus and that Neptune conjunction in the second house. I also wanted to mention that second house has to do with what you own, okay? What you have, okay? The second house is having. It's ruled by Taurus. And he has Neptune, and he's got Uranus there conjuncting, right? Another thing that Neptune symbolizes is Nephthys. Nephthys is the Egyptian goddess of illusions, of music, right? Of dance, of seduction. And Uranus is the lightning god of inspiration that channels the Aquarian energy of Nut, the star goddess in Egypt. So when you combine this, he channels something and he brings it down into music with Neptune. And he totally owns it in the second house. So this is something that he has. This is a talent. Talents could be found in the second house. So he's got that talent of channeling something beyond with Uranus. And channeling through Neptune, which has to do with music, and bringing it onto Earth in the second house with Taurus. You get me? Now, this is the good part about it. This is the interesting part. It's got 24 degrees Uranus. It's squaring his moon in Libra in the 11th house. Now, squares are not all bad, guys. People think squares are bad. But I believe that second house, this conjunction between Neptune and Uranus, okay, is affecting his moon on how he reflects all of this, okay, in social media, on stage, with groups, with friends, with the moon in the 11th house, okay. It's a perfect square between Uranus and his moon. So he owns all this in the second house, and he channels all of this in the 11th house with the moon and his reflection, okay? Moon has to do with how you react to things and your reflection and also your thinking. Now, Justin currently has a Jupiter return, meaning it took 12 years before Jupiter reached where his natal Jupiter was, right? Transit Jupiter. So currently he's got Jupiter in the 12th house, and it's expanding his time alone. His time in the background. Once Jupiter goes into Sagittarius by November of this year, there's going to be something major with Justin Bieber, because he's going to be all over the place. He's going to be even more popular. Right now, he's not that popular. And I guess he is in a way because of his engagement. Okay, maybe he's trying to make himself popular. He doesn't want to go under the radar with this, Jupiter in the 12th house. A lot of people don't know this, but Hollywood, okay, they keep track of, the actors and the performers' astrology chart. They got some very professional astrologers that always guide these people and tell them, what's best and what moves they should do next. And maybe they pulled off this, this engagement as a stunt so he could still be, in the spotlight despite the fact that Jupiter's hiding in his 12th house. But once Jupiter goes into his first house in Sagittarius, he's going to be very popular because everything that Jupiter it touches, it expands. And when it's in his first house of body, self, he's going to be all over the place. Now, Saturn is currently transiting his second house of money. And I know when Saturn was transiting my second house of money and possessions, trust me, I was all about money, making money, how I could improve my business, tweaking this. I was like hardworking it, So it's transiting just in second house, and he's all focused about how he's going to make money, okay? How he's going to expand his income. Now, this also makes me think, could it be that he got engaged just to make money? Because every time that you come out in those magazines, they have to give you the royalties if your face is on it. So could it be that he's trying to sell magazines so he could get an income? I don't know. This is just a food for thought. Now, Saturn's going to be transiting there till he goes into Aquarius in 2020. So he's going to be in working mode throughout that time. Now, Venus is currently transiting his 10th house of reputation, okay, and fame. Venus enters Virgo tomorrow, and it's going to be there for 24 days. And while Venus is in the 10th house of a person's chart, you come across as charming. You're kind of in the spotlight, and people see you as very likable, okay? Venus has to do with love. So in the 10th house, there could be an announcement. There could be wedding announcements. There could be relationship announcement. So his relationship is going to be pretty much out there for these 24 days. It's going to be highlighting, his 10th house, Venus will. Now, Mars is currently circulating his 3rd house, and it'll go back into Capricorn to the 2nd house. And then he'll start hustling, okay, in the 2nd house. But now it's in the 3rd house, and he's more about action, tending to his surroundings, and selling, okay? But when it goes to the 2nd house, he's going to be more into making money. And these two houses go hand in hand, 2nd house and 3rd house. Whenever they're to get like next door, they kind of blend, okay? So I'd say Justin will be focused with Mars, there till the 2027 when he goes, August 27th till he goes direct. He's going to be very focused in making money, okay, and stabilizing that, that flow. Uranus has currently entered his 6th house, and Uranus stays in a house for 7 years, and it's entered Taurus. 6th house has to do with routine, has to do with work, has to do with health. And it's shaking up his routine completely, It's shaking up his work. It's shaking up everything in his 6th house of daylight, what he's usually used to doing. And it is expected to be like that for 7 years. Now, the Sun is currently transiting his 8th house of loss, okay? is in Cancer. And it'll be transiting his 9th house of travel once it goes into Leo, July 22nd. So I'd say by August 22nd, when the sun goes into Virgo, it's going to be back in the spotlight when it reaches his midheaven. Now, the eclipses, the solar eclipse in Cancer happening this week will happen in his 8th house of loss. And I can see how this new beginning has to pertain to losing stuff, maybe losing his past, now that he's engaged, losing stuff, losing also fans that don't agree with him being with, another woman other than Selena, ending up with someone else. So that's the house of loss, and he's to expect these energies for the next coming 6 months till the next eclipse season. Next month, we also have an eclipse in Leo, and this one has to do with the 9th house of travel and expanding your mind, and also a philosophical house that's where you ask, what is the purpose of life? His lunar eclipse, which has to do with endings, okay, is happening in his 3rd house. Now, the 3rd house is a very flirty house, and Aquarius is there. And I would interpret this, lunar eclipse in his 3rd house having to do with getting rid of, all the flirtatious possible suitors that he used to have. 3rd house has to do with people that are in your surroundings. And for men who have Mars in the 3rd house could mean that there's a lot of women around that are tempting him. And having the lunar eclipse there in the 3rd house in Aquarius could mean that that's going to come to an ending. All these little suitors that he had around, because now that he's engaged, he's got to be a little bit more serious. Okay? So this energy is going to be, around for the next 6 months till we have the next eclipse season by January of 2019. So yeah, this is the reading, natal chart reading for Justin Bieber. And if you guys want a reading, go to the links below and the description below. Contact me, and I'll be sure to give you a reading. Have a great day. Namaste.